Welcome to Baby's Green, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear or favor. The West African Examination Council on Saturday, November 29th, released the provisional result for the West African Senior High School Certificate Examination for school candidates, triggering alarm with a catastrophic decline in performance across key core subjects, particularly mathematics. Data released by WASSCE shows a staggering drop in the percentage of candidates achieving grade A to C6 in core mathematics, falling by nearly 18 percentage points compared to the previous years. The results also unveiled a disturbing integrity crisis, with over 7,000 candidates penalized and nearly 40 educational personnel facing criminal charges for examination malpractice. The results were contained in a press release by John Kapi, head of public relations at WASSCE, and represents only the Ghana version. The comparative statistics from the 4-year trend 2022 to 2025 confirm a sharp reversal of gains made in previous years, casting a shadow over the performance of 461,736 candidates who registered from 1,021 schools. The steepest drop was recorded into two categories: core mathematics. 48.73% of candidates had grade A to C6. This represents a massive collapse from 66.86% achieved in 2024. A total of 209.68 candidates passed with A1 to C6. 114,872 candidates failed the subject with an F9. Social studies performance dropped significantly to 55.82%. This is a cause for alarm. It's been a while I've seen something like this. We have students failing, over the years, but this year's own was quite surprising. Looking at the number of people who failed maths and social studies, I came across a comment where people are arguing why you should fail social studies, because social studies is a day-to-day activities. There are things you learn often. It's also a reading subject. Then I hear people say, why will you fail social studies? Social studies is not a subject to fail, but maths, or you're failing maths, well, in a way it's understandable, but I think people are getting it wrong. Social studies is easy but not easy. That is if you make it easy. Social studies has to do with critical thinking. Social studies is the only subject that will ask you to state and explain into details. You don't just state or list, outline, and then it ends there. There are a way of answering social studies questions that if you don't know, you will think you've written, but you fail. So every subject and how you should attempt the question. I remember before we wrote WASSCE, every teacher, every subject teacher will take you through how you answer questions pertaining that subject. When it's math, they will tell you how to answer the question. When it's science, the science teacher will tell you how to answer those questions. ICT teacher will do same. Social studies will do same. English will do same. You don't use the same method you use in solving English for social studies. You don't use the same method you use for social studies for science. You will fail. So when it has to do with exams, there are a lot of things we should put in place. This year's own is very, very bad. Every year we have students failing maths. Maths has now become a challenge for a lot of people. We have people not reading what they want to read, or becoming what they've purported in their mind because of maths. We have people who tell you, oh, I want to become a medical doctor, I want to become this, I want to become that. And then you write paper and you fail maths. Sometimes you write more than 20 times and still not get maths. And so that is why we have people diverting their core mandates of becoming whoever they want to be into a different field. If someone wants to be a doctor and he or she feels like maths is going to be a problem, they look for a field where they do not really pay attention to maths, or they replace maths with another subject, and then they pick you. And so we have a lot of people working today in a field that they never dreamt of. Not for anything, not because they are bad, but because maths is a huge challenge for a lot of people, a lot of students. And I feel like it's about time we pay attention to that. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why do students keep failing not any subject, maths? Why? Why do we have a lot of students failing maths? Is it because the teachers are not doing their work well? Is it because the students are not learning enough? Is it because the schools are lacking the needed resources? Or is it something we don't know about? Because when you come to Ghana, before you be enrolled into a university or the tertiary level, you are supposed to pass maths, science, English, social studies. And some schools, when you fail science, they'll replace it with social studies. In some schools, when your social studies are not good, they replace it with science. But some schools, they don't do that. They're supposed to pass all these 4 subjects. And these are core subjects. You don't fail one. The most dangerous of it is when you fail maths. You won't get to live your dream. You will have to keep writing maths till you get it. And this has become a challenge. And I don't know whether our leaders have paid attention to this. The Minister of Education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, please, I think we need to look into this. Why do students fail maths? Why should it always be maths? Is it the anxiety? Is it the fear of a maths? Is that why these students are not able to pass it? Or is it because the teachers is also another problem? I feel like before you employ a maths teacher, then you should I say investigate more on the teacher, or you should put the teacher to a test to ensure that this teacher is good. The maths teacher I had when I was in senior high school, when the teacher something you don't understand, the only thing he will tell you is those who don't know should ask from those who know. Whether you got it or whether you understand it, whether you did it, is none of his business. What he does is coming to class to teach. And maths is not like that. Maths is not science. Maths is not social studies. Maths is not other subjects where you read to understand. Maths is a practical subject. It's something that you need to be practicing every day. It's not something you practice today and then the next day you are sleeping. If you go like that, you're not going to get it. We have people that automatically they are good in maths. And we have people that it takes time. You need to practice consistently. Every maths teacher will tell you that. The maths is something that you practice consistently. You don't just, it's not a subject you wait till examination, you read, you will fail. It is not like that. So, when these teachers are employed into schools, I think there should be some sort of test for these maths teachers. Because see, the maths teachers some of us had, they are worse. Yet, they won't even teach you anything. And as I said, the maths teacher will tell you, those who don't know should ask from those who know. Even the people he feels like are good in maths, how much more you are not so much good in maths? And I believe the foundation is also another problem. You see, all these things we are talking about, if the foundation is not solid enough, when you get there, you will suffer. Imagine you had a teacher or someone who is so good in maths from the beginning, from crèche, nursery, JHS. And then they've taught you in a way you understand. They taught you basic concepts of mathematics. They've taken away that kind of anxiety or fear that maths is a difficult subject. You cannot get it on an easy platter. If you get someone who teaches you from the basic level very well, when you get to the higher part of your education, you will not find it very difficult. When you go to the private school, that is not a problem. But when you go to our government schools, that needs to be checked. Most of these government teachers, I'm sorry, but most of them do not do their work well. We have government teachers that are so dedicated to whatever they are doing. But we have some government teachers, they are not so dedicated. Obi Oho, the person went as a social studies teacher, but because there's no math teacher in the school, he or she has to replace and then teach. The person is not even good in math. And because the school is lacking a math teacher, or because the school is lacking in one subject or the other, this teacher needs to take up all the subjects. What are you expecting at the end? This will definitely be the result. So I feel like it's about time we pay attention to that. If it will be possible, let's go to the schools. Talk to these students. What is your problem? Why always maths? Head teachers needs to be questioned. Teachers needs to be questioned. Students needs to be questioned. Some teachers, trust me, some teachers are really doing their work very well. And we have some people who will not do it. And if you feel like there is a teacher who is not matching out to task, you let them off. And then you bring in a new teacher. And one more thing I've also realized, most of these teachers immediately they get their cert, maybe their diploma or maybe their first degree, and they're being employed. They feel so reluctant. But it has to do with the field of education. Day in, day out, you need to be getting yourself abreast with different concepts. You cannot rely on those olden ones. Actually, it's archaic. New concepts are coming on board. So this result is not good. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. And I think we need to look into it. If the schools are lacking the needed basic resources to help these teachers teach the students well, let's help them out. Let's resource the schools. You cannot just build an empty building for teachers to go and teach. Especially schools in remote areas. They are lacking a lot. They are really lacking a lot. That is why you don't expect a student from Metro number 1 to come and compete with someone who is in a school where they have everything. So please, this one, it goes directly to the Ministry of Education. It goes directly to you. There is a lot of work to do. A lot. This is very bad. Very, very bad. The most painful thing is you going to school, writing, and then going back to writing off deck. Very, very painful. It's better you write once and then you pass once. But this is a national concern. So we need to pay a critical attention to that and solve it as early as possible. And also to the examination of practices. About 63 or so teachers have been arrested. Please. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Girl.